That is so awkward because it's lower than your hips. That first step is a doozy. Last week, Deb and I concreted where our culverts come into the pond, trying to reduce the sediments that go in the pond when we have a big rain event, because our pond is a runoff pond. So even though we've been filling it with the well for the past 7 days, and we're going to continue doing that for probably 7 more days, ultimately this pond will be kept filled by rainwater. So in order to reduce the sediments that wash out of these culverts as it brings water from 4 different corners around the pond, if we concrete where it comes out there, and we already did some over here. This was done when we were doing a concrete pour on one of our buildings. We had some extra concrete in the truck, so we went ahead and concreted where all of this riprap was put. But now I want to concrete as far as I can down to the water's edge. Something I'm going to do a little bit different on this one than we did on the last ones is I'm going to add a little bit of rebar to it. Not much, because it's not structural. It's just needed. I want to anchor it to the ground because there's not going to be any form boards or anything like that. And also, I've got some wire, some concrete wire. So I'll cut that, just some short pieces, just some small pieces to put in there. And that'll just hold the concrete together. And a bucket so I can scoop some water out of the pond to mix with the concrete. And there's just no easy way to do this. It's going to be all manual. Last time we mixed the concrete up high here where it's level, and then I took the wheelbarrow down to the culvert. But here I think it'll be easier to just scoop water from the pond and mix my concrete at the water's edge, and then just shovel it back up into these little makeshift forms I'm going to make. There's no flat spot for the wheelbarrow, so none of this is going to be very steady as far as having a nice stable workplace. But I think I'm going to incorporate some of this riprap here into my form, and then just bring the concrete up to it like we did last time. There was no forms or anything there. We just dumped it from the concrete truck in there, and the concrete guys just smoothed it with a trowel. So we're going to do kind of the same thing here. I got to see if I got to remove any dirt here for this lip. I put this landscape cloth in here in case we got a big rain, just to keep it from washing out. But I think I'm going to kind of smooth that lip out. You can see how close the water's edge is here, so I only have a little bit of workspace there for the wheelbarrow, and it's going to be at an angle. This is going to be a very rudimentary concrete pour. This is not a foundation. This is simply something to keep the water from touching the ground as it makes its way to the pond. And I know I'm not supposed to put rebar directly into the ground. It's supposed to be completely suspended in the concrete. But the only reason I'm even putting this here is this is going to be the little edge that I'm going to have. I'll trowel up to this, is so that it anchors into the ground. In the event it were to maybe get some water underneath of it from the side, I just don't want it to wash out this, however long this plume is going to be. Put some concrete in here, make a little barrier on the left and right side. It'll be lower in the center. All this has got a lot of fall to it coming off of that culvert up there. And this is just silk cloth that was here. I'm just going to leave it here. Put this one in the middle. And again, all it's doing is anchoring it into the clay. This is concrete left over, or concrete wire left over from some build that we did, some concrete pour. The easy part is done. Time to go get the concrete and start getting to work. So here's the concrete chute that we put in last week, and that's had water flowing across it for 7 days or so. Now the white concrete is what was left over from a pour, and my concrete guys did that, but Deb and I did that all by hand. But then it hits that landscaping cloth or silk cloth down there and continues its way into the pond. But eventually the pond will be real close to that concrete. I may have to take that down a little bit more. And we did the same over there. The pond's getting real close to 3 foot deep. This whole pond build has been an adventure. It's the biggest construction type of job I've ever done. I've built docks, I've built seawalls, I built sheds, and just various other little projects. But that pond was the biggest job I've ever done. We had to get 2 pieces of rental equipment from Parrish Tractor because nothing that we owned was big enough to do the job. And then we had to rent a packer to pack it all. So it was an experience not only with moving dirt, but rental equipment and being on a timeline or a time crunch because you only have so many days with the equipment. And then usually half those days it ends up raining. Get this as close as possible without falling in the pond. The less I have to carry these 80-pound bags, the better. Now, I like doing do-it-yourself projects, not only to save the money, but because I like being outside and I like the exercise and trying to stay fit where I can. But Deb and I shoveled over a ton of pea gravel yesterday. And we got it done. It wasn't a big deal. We used a tractor where we could, but we still had to do some manual labor. And when it was done, we were happy that we did it. Like, I don't really want to mix this concrete. It hurts my shoulders bad to do this. But who's gonna come down here? I'd pay somebody. I mean, this is only gonna be a couple hour job. I'd pay somebody a couple $100 to do this and provide them with the material. But who are you gonna call that's gonna even bother driving to your house for a couple $100? I mixed it a little wet, which I guess is okay. Pretty wet slump. Take that wet stuff and push it in all these cracks and crevices. And that's how far 80 pounds goes. Not very far. So I got 3 bags down in there and it's coming out really good. Getting the good shape that I want to funnel that water down. And Deb made the classic mistake of walking by me when she was walking Bella and asking me, do I need help? And I said, well, I'm not getting my concrete mixture right like you were doing, because that's what she did last time, was do the water to concrete mixture. I said, I'm a little soupy. Did I shame you into mixing some concrete?
No, not shaming. We've been together way too long for you to be able to shame me.
So what's the secret to your concrete? Because I couldn't get it right. I kept getting it too soupy.
Patience. The secret is patience. You must be patient, young grasshopper. You must slowly add the water and slowly mix it. It doesn't like to be rushed. It's like a woman. We don't like to be rushed. Let us get ready when we want to.
Give me the mic back. Give me the mic back and go back to mixing concrete. All right, so we had to mix 2 bags of concrete because I poured a little extra water in Deb's magic mix here and got it too wet. So now we're going to have 160 pounds of concrete, which should finish it up here. I think that's 6 bags or 5 bags. Yeah, it's going to need some more water up here on this top edge. I let the form boards dry over lunch, so let's see if I can get them off without messing up the concrete, because I need them for the next culvert. There's nothing holding these boards except for gravity. Hopefully it pulls away nice and clean. Like it's sticking a little bit right here. Not bad at all. Got some angry ants under there. There it goes. All right, looks good. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form any kind of concrete expert, but that just doesn't look bad. For the minimal amount of prep work, I'm quite happy with it. Probably should just leave it alone, but I'm going to try and smooth the edge out a little bit. I'm going to call that good. I don't want to mess it up. All these culvert discharge chutes are a little bit different. This one kind of turns as it goes down. So I just shaved the dirt out there so that I can start my concrete into the existing concrete. Then I'm going to use dirt as the form up there until it catches the boards here, and then I'll use the edges of the board as forms. And that's wire left over from another job, just like the other one, but this is actually the wire we used on our barn. It's galvanized cattle panels, and I had some pieces left, and I always keep things, and I think at some point I will need that, and I thought this is a great place for it. I think the best place to mix this concrete is right here in this culvert opening. Should be fairly stable to mix it back and forth, and that way I don't have to go up and down a big hill, and I can just, maybe I dump it at the bottom and work my way up, but either way I think this will be easier than the last one. That is awkward. That is so awkward because it's lower than your hips. I think it'll be fine once I get started, but that first step is a doozy. This is where you get the comments of you don't know what you're doing. And that may be true, but also camera does not pick up slopes well. And this is got a decent slope. I mean, it's a 30-degree slope. I measured it with my iPhone. And so while on the camera, it's like, oh, it's just a little bit of an incline. It's more than you think. And then you're trying to carry an 80-pound bag of concrete and not drop it. I'm sure it comes across as very awkward and like I don't know what I'm doing. But trust me, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, let's pour this one. That worked out pretty good. I disturbed all those ants, and they're probably going to crawl up my leg now. This almost should start at the bottom just because of the way this slope is. Yeah, I think we're just going to have to mix a bunch and push it down there, or pour it down there, and then work it later. All right, my Pro Cement mixer showed up. So the first one I put down there was too dry. We just got no room to work here. Oh, that's... Whoa! That was a lot. All right, hopefully this will get me all the way to the end. Yeah. It's actually a good consistency, or a good slump. I know I'm not in concrete pouring shape, but where this forearm, the bottom side of it, attaches to your elbow, the trowel work just wears that out. I mean, it's a muscle you don't use unless you're doing that specific motion. But I got that spillway right there done, and now I think 2 more bags of concrete, because this is going to be pretty thick coming off the transition here. But 2 more bags of concrete, and this will be done. I think the hard part's done. This is just kind of forming it to the dirt. And you don't have to worry about creating the little divot there. I'm just going to take that concrete and bring it up into that dirt so that water can kind of swirl. I think this type of work is like anything where little jobs like this, they kind of wear you out and make you feel good about doing, you know, some do-it-yourself projects are satisfying. But to do this day in and day out for a living, and I know people in their 70s that have been doing this all their life, and they're still doing it. And God bless them. We need them, because my body couldn't take it. It's a young man's game, in my opinion. Miss Piney Grove coming back from a drink run. Luckily, we have some beautiful weather, so it's not overly hot out here. But it's almost always too hot to be doing concrete. But I'll give her a nice 80-pound bag here to get her started. I don't want her to feel left out. That's the kind of husband I am, babe.
I actually smacked my knee on the culvert. I don't even know how because it goes in, but somehow I managed to smack my knee.
That concrete back there behind you?
Yes, somehow. There's a way to injure myself. I will find it.
You seem to be slowing down a little bit.
No, this is precarious. I mean, there's ants down here. You're in a little dip. It's not level. You gotta go slower.
Come on, big girl.
Did you hear what he called me? He called me big girl. If you've not picked up on that, he calls me big girl a lot. Husbands, I'm just saying as a general rule, you might not want to call your wives big girl. And you certainly might not want to call your wives big girl when they're helping you mix cement.
I thought it was an affectionate little nickname. Little big girl.
What say you women? It's big girl an affectionate little nickname? You tell me.
What did my son Tyler used to call you?
Debaroo.
Devereux.
Debaroo. Debaroo. That is an affectionate nickname. The final culvert. Cemented in, pond packed, almost at the 3-foot mark. So much better. And for someone who's not a concrete mason, not so bad there, Bradford.
So what did you think when I told you we were going to do this? What were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was possibly overkill since you packed the clay so tight, and the water hopefully comes up almost to where the spillway ended before. But now that I see it, it looks really good, and I think it's going to keep the pond cleaner.
But let us know down in the comments, what do you think about this, and what do you think about the pond in general? It's come such a long way. I think this is video number 18. We're real pleased with the results. We know we put a lot of effort into it, a lot of money into it. People have questioned, is that something that, was wise to do? But when it looks like this, and hopefully it looks like this for, the rest of our lives, I say it was worth every penny. But that'll wrap it up for today's video, folks. We sure appreciate you watching. Until next time, remember, life's short.
Be kind.
Tractor hard. And
watch these 2 videos. They're awesome.
check out these 2 videos. They'll change your life. Take care, guys. We'll see you on the next one.